Hi, so today I'm going to be making a food that is a part of the culture for Ukraine that I was doing my presentation about. I specifically chose to do a wedding dessert called korovi, which is I found to be the best in my opinion to make because it's tying in not only the cultural aspect of it but also the traditional aspect of their weddings, and how these events become traditional and beautiful at the same time. I also liked how they have a lot of traditions that don't really coincide with others, not necessarily the same as Catholic or Jewish or all those different things, but they have their own traditions in itself, which is one of them specifically is this dessert. I just wanted to summarize that these little desserts are what symbolizes that correlation between weddings. So to explain what korovi is, it's a little treat that they use to symbolize the forever love for the married couple. The two birds that you create, one represents something and another represents something completely different. So the one with the closed wings represents the female or the bride, and the one with the wings spread out represents the male, which in other words is supposed to, show protection over the female. And oftentimes the bride and the groom will take a second one. They come in pairs, so they'll take a second pair home to their new home, and they use it as sort of a memento to keep that symbolism of everlasting love alive after their wedding is on. And obviously they don't keep it and it doesn't never been eaten. They eat it, but they also make it a tradition to eat it in their new home, so it ties in the symbolism of having a new home as a new married couple. It'll keep it going. So I'm gonna bring up the recipe so I do this correctly. Okay, so in front of me I have 3/4 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of cornstarch, 2 teaspoons of shortening or Crisco. Then I have an egg, just the egg white, so I strained out the yolk. And in this, it's 2 cups of water and 1 drop of yellow food coloring. So in this, I'm going to mix together the cornstarch. Just put this in there. The Crisco. And then a half of the flour that I measured out. So then literally just gonna mix it together. So that's all mixed together. Then with our liquid, so then we're gonna take it, and it says to use 1/4 of the yellow water. It's kind of a weird way to name it. And add it to the flour mixture. So I have this. Where's the food? Okay. Make sure I don't spill it. Okay. Alright, so we have 1/4, and we're going to add it the mixture like so. So Here we go. And then with this, we're gonna mix it with a spoon. Okay, so I have kneaded out the dough, and I have shaped, kind of cut out the shapes of the first one, which is gonna be the female. So we have the head essentially is supposed to be the size of a grape, like the larger green grapes. And then you're gonna make two identically sized little linear strings almost. They're not that thick, but you wanna have them one a little bit longer on the tail end because you're going to place one of them underneath, then place the head, and then kind of fold the one over, kind of like, it's gonna look like a cross essentially, and the two sides you're gonna fold over, kind of like what you would do with a scarf, and then that's gonna make the wings. So essentially, now you're gonna have your cross, right there, over, under. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna start making the body. So you're going to pick up the top portion, like so, and you're going to place your ball underneath, kind of making it become the head, and then you're going to pinch the front end so it turns into a beak. That. Okay. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to take the sides of the wings and we're going to fold them over. Okay. There we go. Okay, so obviously mine does not look as professional, but the attempt is worth it. So this is what I have. You have, not done yet, but you have the tail, the two wings have been folded over, and then the head. So then, your last step is you're going to take a knife, you're going to go into the tail, flatten just the end section of it, and you're going to make little slits like feathers. And then you're going to do the same thing on the wings. I got about 4 on the tail and 3 on the wings. Okay. So, this unfortunate looking thing is my final female. So what you have is you have your head, you have your wings, and you have the tail. And what they do sometimes is they will place either 2 little grains of cinnamon or 2 seeds, and they'll place it in place of the eyes. And then, yeah, that would be the female. So then, essentially, their reasoning of doing the tuck kind of look is to show that they're kind of embracing the love that they're going to gain from the male figure, as well as embracing a new life, considering in the Ukraine, women kind of not necessarily change themselves, but when they get married, the male kind of takes over that dominant role in whether that be working or taking care of the house, like all those things that necessarily become in a definition of the dominance would be from the male. So the female is essentially kind of cloaking herself in that ability to be okay with this when she's married. Okay, so now that I've completed the female, now I started the male. So essentially you're doing the same kind of concept with the two pieces, but you're not using the second piece for the wings, and like in the female they like fold it over. In this one you're going to use that second strand and kind of make it flat, not so flat like paper flat, but like flat enough that it'll just lie across the body, and that essentially is going to be those spread wings that I was talking about, how those are the protection aspect, or that symbolism of protection. So you start with the body, the same way you did with that. You're going to do the head, so you're going to, again, pick up the front portion, do a little crease. There we go. Okay, little pinch for the beak. Okay, so now that you have your body, you're going to go at that tail again, and you're going to do your slits. This time, you should get a few more because you have more of your flour, or of your dough, I should say. Okay. Alright, so as you can see, here's my bird. I got a few extra slits in the tail. I just have this there as a stationary for the head, just to see if it'll keep it risen. And finally, you have your little, this was my piece for the wing, now it's flat. You're gonna take it and kind of, let's see, that, is this too big? If it's too big, no, it's good. Okay, if it's too big, you can always trim it. So you're gonna do a little, right down the middle, you're gonna kind of make a mark. And this mark is just gonna be the basis of where it lands on the body. So after that, you're just gonna make kind of diagonal slits, not straight down like you did with the tail. And these should be pretty high up, not necessarily too high up, but enough that you get the wing look. And you can go out as far as you get to the end. Okay, so then you're going to take your piece that you just cut. This is what looks weird because I'm holding it up, but you're going to place it. I'm actually going to put a little water on the back so it sticks, and you're going to place it right over the back. Now at that point you can shape it. I usually put some flour on the dough so it doesn't stick too much. And then, yeah. So this is my male. Right here. I have the wings spread out, the tail cut, and the head. Now the same with this, they're going to take those seeds or those cinnamon pieces and they're going to make the eyes. And now, if I can attempt this, to lift it up and place it on my cookie sheet. with this, you're going to preheat your oven to 375 degrees on either convection bake or bake, whatever your oven offers. And then, there we go. Okay. Alright, so once the birds are, well, you're obviously going to have more than two, but once these are assembled, you're going to brush them with an egg wash, just to kind of give them that nice little texture. So you don't want to get it too fluffy as an egg wash, because then it's just going to make the coating of them look kind of cracked and it's not going to be all spread out over it. It's kind of give them like a weird flaky, spotty finish. So I'm going to whisk this for about 20-30 seconds. Just so you get like a little less than a frothy look. Kind of if you were to melt butter. Okay. All right. Finally, I'm gonna take a brush if you have one. And you are going to take your glaze and you're going to just essentially just paint over the top portion of your birds. And this is just going to give them that ability to get that golden brown, as you would expect from kind of like a breaded dessert or anything of that sort. And you want them to be not sitting, kind of like lying upward and not on their side, because then that will just make it essentially fall apart. You also don't want to coat them, like you don't want them to be dripping in liquid. You just want a little nice finish. Sometimes I like to paint over the flour so you don't see the little white flour marks anymore. Okay, just one more little go over. Alright. Okay, so now my final product is our female over here and our male over here. You can see the difference in the wings, obviously. I'm gonna put these in for about 20 minutes, or until the tips of the wings and the tails are turning slightly golden, since they are the thinnest part of this whole thing. And the bodies of the birds will stay very light, so don't brown them. They want to be fluffy on the inside. And usually the tradition that they do with these is when they're done, they stick a toothpick in them and they kind of place them in a cake or in a loaf of bread that they symbolize as their cake. They'll place them in the bread and kind of have them all tiered out. They're different lengths, different sizes. They can make birds from small to large. I specifically did the medium size, so there's ones that are like this big versus like huge decals on cakes. But essentially they put these on the cakes because they want everybody at the party to take a bite and eat one, and to symbolize that love and that everlasting love for the married couple. So I'm going to put these in 20 minutes. I'll take a video of what they finally look like. Probably not going to look like the picture, but yeah.